Today, I want to take you on a truly awe-inspiring journey. Imagine this: long before the pyramids of Egypt were built and centuries before the founding of the Roman Empire, a civilization had already taken root on the Australian continent. Yes, you heard that right, presenting the world's oldest continuously living culture, the Australian Aborigines. So, how do we recognize a culture that has endured for over 65,000 years? What distinguishes them and shapes their view of life? Here enters the magical, complex and profoundly deep concept known as Dreamtime, or in their own language, the unique worldview they express with words only their tongues can capture. This isn't just about the dreams we have while sleeping. It's far more. It is existence itself, an understanding where past, present, and future interweave, where the land, people, and spirits form an inseparable unity. In this video, we will witness the incredible journey of the Aboriginal peoples, peel back the layers of Dreamtime, marvel at their art, and together explore how this ancient wisdom echoes into the present. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on an extraordinary adventure through time and space. Now, let's travel back in time, far, far back. Scientists believe that the first humans set foot on Australia at least 65,000 years ago. Just imagine, the world was very different then. Influenced by the Ice Age, sea levels were considerably lower, and the journey from Southeast Asia to Australia was made, perhaps by hopping from island to island using small rafts, or by following the coastlines that are now submerged. These daring explorers stepped into a new continent teeming with colossal, unfamiliar animals and plants. And what did they do? With an incredible ability to adapt, they spread throughout every corner of this vast land, from scorching deserts to humid tropical forests, from rugged mountains to river valleys, making each territory their home. Over time, rather than one homogeneous group, hundreds of different nations and clans emerged, each with its own language, its own laws, its own land, and its unique Dreamtime stories. Their profound history reaches us not only through tools and bones buried deep beneath the earth, but also through rock art carved on cave walls, art that has survived for thousands of years, and most importantly, through the rich oral traditions passed down from generation to generation. Now, let's talk about the famous Dreamtime. We often hear this term, but what exactly does it mean? First, let's clarify. This is a term coined by English speakers to describe this complex worldview. In their own languages, Aboriginal peoples have words that convey much deeper and varied meanings. But for simplicity's sake, let's call it Dreamtime. Imagine that the universe began with a song. Dreamtime is that moment of creation. It is when the ancestral spirits awoke, wandering through the formless void, crafting the earth, the stars, water, plants, animals, and us humans. But the fascinating part is, this isn't an event confined to the past. Dreamtime is also the pulse of the present. The energy of those ancestral beings, the traces they left behind, are still among us. The paths they walked, the rocks they rested upon, the springs they drank from. Each of these is a sacred site carrying that creative power. Uluru might be the best known, but across Australia there are thousands of such sacred places, each with its own story, its own song. And that brings us to songlines. When the ancestral spirits created the world, they also sang its song. These songs are not only creation myths, they serve as maps, guidebooks that teach people where to find water, which plants are edible, what ceremonies to observe, and how to live together. Dreamtime thus represents a cosmology in which religion, law, geography, history, and identity are inextricably interwoven. A living tradition that shapes today's life with the wisdom of the past, lighting the way into the future. So, how is such a profound philosophy expressed? That's where Aboriginal art comes into play, opening up a mesmerizing world for us. Rock art dating back thousands of years is a brilliant example. Cave walls and rock shelters act like living libraries. In these images, we see depictions of ancestral spirits, animals, hunting scenes, ceremonies, and maps of Dreamtime. It's not just art, it's a tool for teaching, a register of history. Moving to more recent times, there are also paintings on bark and the globally renowned dot paintings. The dot technique, which gained modern expression in the 1970s with the Papunya Tula art movement, was used by artists to discreetly encode sacred symbols meant only for initiated community members. When you look at these paintings, you usually see an aerial landscape, a symbolic map that tells the story of water sources, campsites, animal tracks, and the journeys of ancestral spirits. Even the natural earth pigments reflect the soul of the land. And, of course, there's music and dance. Dreamtime stories aren't merely painted, they're sung and danced into life. The deep, resonant sound of the didgeridoo is almost like the heartbeat of the land. The rhythmic beats of clapsticks, the ancient songs passed down through the ages, and the ceremonial dances all serve to keep Dreamtime alive, connect with the ancestral spirits, instill identity in the youth, and celebrate life's pivotal moments. Storytelling itself is an art form. Through words, tones, and gestures, Dreamtime is revived again and again. When we talk about Aboriginal society, we are not referring to a single homogeneous structure. It is a diverse tapestry of hundreds of different languages and nations. Every group is connected to their own country, a bond that encompasses not just a parcel of land, but the rocks, rivers, plants, and animals that form part of their extended family. Caring for country is a fundamental responsibility. The traditional land management techniques they developed over thousands of years, see for example, practices like controlled burning, often termed fire stick farming, to rejuvenate vegetation and attract game, reflect a wisdom that can even inspire modern ecologists. The social structure of these communities is also based on the complex kinship systems inherited from Dreamtime. Totems, skin names, social identities, and marriage rules determine responsibilities, who shares knowledge with whom, and how resources are allocated. Sophisticated systems ensuring social cohesion. Unlike the Western concept of individual ownership, here collective responsibility and sharing are paramount. Birth laws are not written down, but are deeply ingrained traditional codes passed down from Dreamtime, known and obeyed by all. Disputes are typically resolved within the community under the guidance of the elders. Wisdom. However, this balance and wisdom that spanned thousands of years was shattered when, in 1788, the first British ships reached Sydney Harbour. Colonization marked the beginning of an era filled with unspeakable suffering for the Aboriginal peoples. In Australia, declared terra nullius, or land belonging to no one, their existence and rights were completely disregarded. They were forcibly removed from their land, their sacred sites were destroyed, and their hunting grounds were taken away. Diseases unknown to them, such as smallpox, decimated their populations. Under the guise of border conflicts, countless massacres occurred. Perhaps most painful of all were the assimilation policies driven by racist ideologies. The darkest manifestation of these policies was the stolen generations. Tens of thousands of Aboriginal children were torn away from their families simply because of their heritage. Placed into institutions or with white families, they were forced to forget their language and ashamed of their culture. This caused deep, multi-generational trauma, loss of identity, broken familial bonds, suffering that still resonates today. But the Aboriginal peoples never gave up. They demonstrated an incredible resilience, quietly preserving their culture, speaking their languages in whispers. They mounted land rights struggles that gained momentum from the 1960s onward. Protests like the Wave Hill Walk, often legal victories like the Mabo decision, marked important steps in reclaiming their rights on these lands. Today, Aboriginal people remain an essential and inextricable part of Australian society. While they continue to face vast disparities in health, education, and economic opportunities, the lingering effects of systemic racism are still all too evident. They also make their voices heard through art, sporting achievements, and political activism. They safeguard their culture and pass it down to the younger generations. Australia's process of reconciliation, despite its ups and downs, is ongoing. Initiatives such as the Uluru Statement from the Heart, demanding constitutional recognition, treaties, and the telling of truths, stand as powerful calls for justice. So, my friends, this is the journey of the Australian Aborigines, from Dreamtime to today. A history spanning 65,000 years, a cultural depth that amazes, an unyielding bond with the land, and a living fire that continues to burn despite every hardship. Their story is not just Australia's, but a shared inheritance of all humanity. What Dreamtime teaches us, that living in harmony with nature, trusting in communal wisdom, and building the future by honoring the past, are values we need now more than ever. Let's not forget, when we speak of Aboriginal culture, we refer not to a single monolithic entity, but to a rich chorus made up of hundreds of diverse voices. Listening to this ancient culture, respecting it, and, most importantly, learning directly from Aboriginal voices is a small but valuable step toward a more understanding and just world. I hope this journey has inspired you. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We value your thoughts greatly. Let us know in the comments.